The magic of Waverly Place never truly ended. It was only waiting to return. Darkness fills the screen. The sound of wind howls like a whisper from another world. A faint glow flickers in the distance, blue sparks dancing in midair, swirling, like fireflies caught in a storm. The camera moves slowly closer. The sparks twist, forming strange runes, glowing symbols that look alive. One of them suddenly burns brighter than the rest, and with a crackling noise, it shatters like glass. A deep, resonant voice begins to speak, calm but haunting, as if carrying secrets too dangerous to reveal all at once. Every spell leaves behind an echo, and every echo waits to be heard. The sound of a heartbeat begins to pound softly in the background. On screen, an empty street in the middle of the night flickers into view. A street lamp blinks on, then off again, leaving shadows stretching across the ground. The pavement begins to tremble, cracks glowing with golden light, as though something ancient is trying to break free beneath the surface. Suddenly, a gust of wind sweeps past, carrying whispers, fragments of voices from the past, laughter, cries, and the faint sound of a spell being cast. The voices vanish into silence, but the silence feels heavier, charged with unseen energy. The narrator's voice returns, lower now, almost a whisper. The magic of Waverly Place was never gone. It was hidden, waiting, watching. A slow pan upward reveals the night sky, but it isn't normal. The stars begin to rearrange themselves into strange constellations, forming the outline of a key. As the stars glow brighter, lightning cracks across the heavens, painting the world in flashes of blue and silver. With each flash, the faint silhouette of figures appears, robed shapes, their faces hidden in shadow, holding staffs that pulse with light. They vanish with the next strike of lightning, leaving only the storm. Music begins to build, a soft, eerie piano tune, each note echoing with suspense. The tune grows heavier, layered with strings that tremble like a warning. The scene cuts sharply to a close-up of a hand reaching out of the darkness. It's not fully visible, but faint traces of magic spark from the fingertips, glowing faintly like embers. The hand shakes as though the power is almost too much to control. The sparks flare brighter, suddenly erupting into flames of blue light. The screen flickers black, then white, then black again. A booming sound echoes like a door slamming shut. The voice returns, steady and chilling, but echoes grow louder, until no one can ignore them. As the words fade, the screen reveals a lone street sign shaking in the storm wind. Waverly Place. The sign rattles, creaks, and then bends unnaturally as if pulled by an invisible force. The letters glow faintly, then explode into a burst of light. The light fades, leaving silence. For just a second, everything is calm again. Then out of nowhere, the ground shatters open with a violent crack. A surge of golden fire bursts upward, twisting into the form of a towering magical creature. Its eyes blaze, its form shadowy and indistinct, like something pulled from pure nightmare. It roars, but the roar sounds less like an animal and more like 1,000 spells cast at once. The music now shifts, drums pounding, violins screaming, the piano racing faster, building into chaos. Quick flashes of imagery explode onto the screen, a shattered wand falling to the ground, a door slamming in a dark hallway, books flying from a shelf as if alive, a candle extinguishing on its own. Each flash comes faster than the last, giving only fragments, never answers. A final image lingers, a single candle reigniting itself. Its flame burns blue instead of orange. The shot zooms closer, closer, until the flame fills the screen entirely. The narrator whispers one last line. The story isn't over, it never was. The flame suddenly bursts, transitioning into total darkness, *, a sudden crack of thunder splits. The silence. The screen bursts alive with a storm over the city skyline. Clouds twist unnaturally, curling inward as though forming a gigantic whirlpool in the sky. Lightning forks down, but instead of white, it glows a strange violet. The bolts don't fade, they linger, hanging in the air like frozen veins of light, buzzing with energy. The camera cuts closer, weaving through the streets below. People rush through the storm, shadows cast long and distorted by the eerie glow. Above, a window shatters on its own. A door slams open with no one behind it. Whispers ripple through the night, rising louder, overlapping until it becomes impossible to tell if it's hundreds of voices or one voice split into fragments. A figure steps into view, hooded, faceless, their footsteps echo louder than thunder as if the ground itself knows their weight. Sparks follow them, flickering along the walls as they pass. The screen cuts sharply to black. A chilling voice pierces the silence. Not all magic was meant to be seen. The words fade, but the echo lingers unnaturally long. The storm intensifies. Buildings tremble. A burst of magic tears open a crack in the air itself, a glowing fracture, jagged and pulsating. Through the crack, shadows crawl forward, stretching into the world like living ink. Their forms twist, never holding shape, melting and reforming as they move. Music begins to thrum, a heartbeat rhythm matched by low drums. The pace is steady but building, like a warning that everything is about to spiral out of control. The camera cuts again. Quick flashes, a pair of glowing eyes opening in total darkness. A hand slamming down on an ancient spell book, its pages fluttering in the wind. A wand sparking violently, its power unstable. A reflection in broken glass that doesn't match the person looking into it. The screen flickers like an old film. Real, unstable, and broken. Each flicker reveals something worse. Strange symbols carved into stone walls. Doors that open into endless black voids. Candles dripping blood instead of wax. Then silence. Suddenly a voice cries out, not narration, but a character's voice, urgent and afraid. They're not supposed to be here. The screen explodes with motion. Figures sprint down a dark corridor, chased by glowing shadows that crawl along the walls like fire. Magic bursts in the air, spells thrown in panic. Blue and red lights collide, sparks flying in every direction. One blast smashes into a brick wall, exploding it into dust. The music quickens. Strings rising higher, heartbeat drums faster. The screen flashes between chaos, a staircase crumbling. Someone reaching out to save another, a wand clattering to the ground. Every shot lasts less than a second, forcing the audience to piece together fragments of the truth. Then, a sudden stillness. The sound cuts completely. On screen, a single figure stands in the middle of a ruined room. Books burn around them. The air hums with raw energy. Their silhouette is cloaked in shadow, but their hands glow with unstable magic, trembling. As though they're barely holding it back, a whisper breaks the silence. We open the door, and now we can't close it. The words hang heavy as the music crashes back in, louder, more frantic. A rapid-fire montage slams across the screen, magical duels in dark alleys, portals tearing through the sky, robed figures chanting, sparks exploding like fireworks. Faces appear in flashes, half-lit, half-hidden eyes filled with fear, determination, and betrayal. One image lingers, two hands reaching toward each other, one glowing with light, the other with shadow. Just before they touch, the screen cuts. Black dot, the narrator returns, colder than before. The line between light and darkness is breaking, and when it breaks, a pause. The storm roars. The camera dives into the eye of the storm, where a colossal figure waits, its form hidden by lightning but its presence undeniable. No one will be safe. The words slam into silence. The section ends with a single image, the Waverly Place. Street sign, half buried in rubble, sparking faintly with leftover magic. The glow fades to darkness. The silence shatters with a roar of magic. Sparks erupt across the screen as if the entire world has been set on fire. A staff slams into the ground, sending shockwaves through stone and dirt. Dust swirls upward, forming a storm of glowing fragments. The music bursts into full force, thundering drums, soaring violins, and the pounding rhythm of danger. The screen explodes into a rapid sequence of shots, each image more intense than the last. A duel between two shadowed figures, bolts of fire and lightning colliding midair. A massive creature with wings of smoke, screeching as it dives across a ruined skyline. A staircase breaking apart under the feet of a running figure, each step falling into nothingness. A group of cloaked wizards raising their hands in unison. Chanting, the ground cracking beneath them, the narrator's voice cuts in, steady but filled with urgency. Power never comes without a cost. As the words echo, the scene slows. A close-up of a character's face, sweat dripping, eyes wide, struggling to hold back a flood of energy swirling around them. Their wand glows too bright, sparks bursting uncontrollably. They shout through the chaos, "We weren't meant to have this power." The screen cuts sharply. A second voice responds, determined, defiant. "Then why do we?" The clash of voices collides with a blast of magic. A wall of fire sweeps across the screen, consuming everything in sight. The fire twists, reshaping into glowing birds that scatter into the sky like embers. The montage intensifies. Chains of light snap and shatter as someone breaks free. A glowing portal swirls open in the middle of a street, pulling cars and debris into its spiral. Two figures leap from opposite rooftops, colliding midair with spells exploding between them. A child clutches an old spellbook, eyes filled with fear as pages flip open by themselves. The music grows wilder, strings screaming, drums rolling like thunder. Every cut is faster, sharper, louder. Then everything slows again. The sound drains, leaving only a single heartbeat. On screen, two hands reaching across a chasm, fingertips almost touching. One hand burns with radiant golden light, the other drips with black shadow. The moment holds for just a second, then a shockwave explodes, tearing them apart. A scream echoes. Not one of fear, but of rage. The screen flashes to a duel unlike any before, light and darkness colliding, swirling around two figures locked in battle. Their spells twist into storms of fire, ice, and lightning. Buildings crumble around them, but they don't stop. Every strike grows more violent, every block more desperate. The narrator returns, the voice lower, harsher. "The world will not survive their war." The pace ramps again. Flashes of chaos consume the screen, a library engulfed in flames, books flying like birds. A bridge collapsing as glowing serpents slither beneath it. A face revealed in the shadows, eyes glowing like molten silver. A blade made of pure light drawn from a staff, cutting through darkness. The music hits a peak, crashing into silence once more. Out of the stillness we hear a single voice, a whisper trembling with fear. What if the real enemy is us? The screen shows a circle of friends standing apart, their faces tense, their wands raised not at monsters but at each other. Sparks flicker between them, an unspoken betrayal. Thick in the air. The camera zooms into one character's eyes, glowing faintly as though something inside is breaking loose. The iris fractures like glass, revealing a storm of light beneath. The music slams back in. A final, furious montage erupts, spells flying in every direction, colliding midair in showers of color. A creature of pure fire roaring against a wall of water crashing down. A group of wizards standing back to back, casting a massive shield that cracks under pressure. A single tear rolling down someone's cheek before they vanish in a burst of light. The screen cuts black. A single line drops into the silence. Some battles you can't win. A deep rumble follows, building until the screen cracks with light again. A colossal explosion of magic tears across the screen, swallowing everything in fire, lightning, and shadow. The sound is deafening, the music screaming into chaos. Then silence. Only embers remain, drifting across the darkness. The screen is pitch black. Silence. Not a single sound until the faintest drip of water echoes in the darkness. Drip. 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 The sound grows louder, heavier, as if each drop is striking not water but stone, carving away at something ancient. A faint glow flickers, revealing a cavern deep beneath the earth. The walls are etched with glowing runes, their light pulsing like a heartbeat. Shadows twist between them, forming shapes that vanish before they can be recognized. The camera drifts forward, deeper into the cavern until it reaches a massive stone door. Cracks run along its surface, glowing faintly. The runes burn brighter with every heartbeat. The narrator's voice returns, steady but mournful. Every door opens for a reason, but not every door should be opened. The stone begins to rumble. Dust falls from the ceiling as the cracks split wider. A deafening roar of energy bursts through, blinding light spilling from inside. For a moment, it seems like the door might hold, but then it explodes outward. The cavern shakes violently as darkness floods into the world, swallowing the light. Whole, the music slams back in low, pounding horns, a choir chanting in the background, rising higher with each note. The screen cuts into chaos, the city skyline cracking open as if the earth itself is rebelling. A giant creature taller than buildings, its form made of smoke and fire, climbing out of the glowing fracture. Wizards casting massive shields, their bodies trembling under the weight of unstoppable force. A figure screaming in pain as shadows crawl up their arm, turning their skin into stone. The screen flashes black. A single voice whispers, "Magic always comes with a price." The trailer erupts again with faster, sharper images, a glowing key shattering into pieces. Two characters clashing in a violent duel, their powers shaking the ground. A face revealed in firelight, twisted with anger, shouting words we can't hear. A clock spinning backward uncontrollably, time itself breaking apart. The music reaches its breaking point, layers of drums, strings and voices creating chaos that almost feels unbearable. Then everything slows. On screen, a figure walks alone through a ruined street. Fires burn on both sides, rubble scattered everywhere. The camera stays behind them, never revealing their face. They stop at the center of the destruction. Slowly, they raise their hand. Sparks gather around their palm, golden, violent, unstable. The sparks grow, forming a glowing sphere of magic. The sphere trembles, threatening to explode. The narrator's voice grows colder, sharper, and the price must be paid. The glowing sphere bursts outward in a blinding flash. The explosion consumes everything, swallowing the city, the screen, and the sound. Total silence. Out of the silence, a single candle lights itself in the middle of the darkness. Its flame burns not orange, but deep blue. The flame bends, stretches, and reshapes into words. Wizards Beyond Waverly Place. Season 2 logo glows brighter, shimmering with sparks as if alive. Beneath it, text fades in slowly, one word at a time. Coming soon, are you ready? The music returns for a final haunting nota, single piano key, echoing into silence. Then a whisper so faint it almost blends with the silence. The story isn't over. It's only beginning. The screen cuts to black. Nothing remains.